I'm now going to go through making the physical simulation. So if you've seen the other video, I've shown you how to do it using the drive constraint, but this time I'm going to show you how to do it using Inventor Studio. So first thing you need to do is you need to go up into Environment at the top, and you have this one here, Inventor Studio. If you click that, that then takes you into the Inventor Studio environment, and you can see we've now got this new panel along the top, and you can see we're now in the Render tab. So you may have used this before to make images, so I'm going to show you now how to use it to do animations. So one of the first things I like to do when I'm setting up an animation is if you go to the View tab, you can actually change it from orthographic to perspective, and you can see how it slightly changes the perspective of the model, so then you can get a better angle, and I think it just looks a little bit better than just having it in orthographic. So I'm just going to set that up in the centre of the screen, and just zoom in a little bit. So now if we go back to the Render tab, what we can do is, the first thing we need to do is open the animation timeline, and that gives you this down here. So if you've ever used any other video editing software, it's very similar. If you click on this one, it expands it, and you can see that there's nothing in here at the moment. The one next to that there gives you the options of the animation. So at the moment it's going to be a 30-second long animation. I'm going to change that to just make it 10 seconds long. And what this is doing here is it's saying it's going to speed up, and then it's going to be full speed, and it's going to slow down at these percentages. You can change that, you can turn it off, but I'm going to leave it because it does, with this elbow engine, it looks quite good to have it speeding up and then slowing down, so that's okay for me. I'm just going to put this one back down a second. So you've now got these options up here to animate. So the thing we're going to do is animate a constraint, because we have fully constrained our assembly, of course. So if I click on this constraint, you get this box up here which basically allows you to animate the constraints, and as always you can see there's an action for us here, so we need to choose the constraint, which I think is on the flywheel web. It's angle 7 here. So I'm going to select this constraint and say, okay, you're going to animate this constraint. It's going to start at 0 degrees, which is obviously what it's set to, and it's going to end at how many degrees. So you could say you wanted 10 revolutions in 10 seconds, then you would change this to 3,600, but I think that might be a bit fast, so we're going to go half of that and do 1,800. You can then choose how long it's going to take to go from 0 degrees to 1,800 degrees. So I'm going to specify in here that it's going to start at 0 and end at 10 seconds. So basically that means it's going to do 180 degrees every second. If I press OK and just expand this down here, you can see now that I have this blue bit along here which shows I've got something to animate. If I go back to the start of the video and just minimise that and then press play, you can see there, so you can see it speeding up, then it's full speed, and then when we get to the last 20%, so from 8 seconds onwards, you'll see it then slows down again. So I think it looks quite good. And the good thing about Inventor Studio is you can animate more than one thing at once. So with drive constraint, that would be all that we could do. Whereas in here you can animate more constraints, or you can fade items out to give better visibility. There's a whole host of different things you can do here. And just to show you how easy it is, I'm going to fade out, let's do the 2 cylinders. I'll fade out these 2 cylinders just so you can see the pistons on the inside. And it's very easy to do. What you do is you click on fade, same as previously, and you can see in the action it's asking what components. So I'm going to click the 2 components I would like to fade, and you can see it's going to start at 100%, and we want it to end at, let's say, 40% normal. So that's 0, and 40% you can see is, maybe let's go 50. So 50%, you can see it gives you this preview, and again you can start and end it. So I'm going to specify for the fade to start at let's say 3.5 seconds, and it's going to end at, let's do 5.5. So then if I press OK, again, we expand this time, and you can see here that it's showing us where it's going to do it. And the good thing about this timeline down here is you can actually use things in here. So if I hold Control to select these 2 and right click, I can mirror that. So now it's going to go from 100% to 50%, and then from 50% back to 100%. And you can move items around on this timeline. So if I wanted it to stay at 40% for a second, I can just manipulate this. And now if I minimise that and go to start and play, you can see that as soon as we hit 3.5 seconds, it starts to fade out, and then it will go back. And there you go, it's much better animation. It doesn't take very long to set up at all. and now what you need to do is you go to record, and you get the same box as you would if you were doing a single image. So I'm going to change this here to some different settings. I'm going to make it a bit larger. I'm going to use the current view. The lighting style I'm going to use is shop lighting. That's quite good for sort of small units. I'm going to keep the current background and I keep it shaded, and then in the output you can see we're going to change that. We don't want to do 30 seconds, we just want to do 10 seconds. Anti-aliasing, I'm going to go all the way. Now this format here, what it allows you to do is this will render every image back to back, like a video, and then this one will render each image, because of course if we're doing 15 frames a second at 10 seconds, we've got 150 images that the computer is basically going to render. If it crashes halfway through this one, then you would lose it, whereas if you crash halfway through this, say you're at image 30 of 150, it would then start at image 31 when you restarted. So if you're doing a very large render, it may be worth doing this one, but this is quite small, so I'm just going to keep it as video format. Again, if you wanted it to be smoother, you could change it to say 25 frames a second, but for what we're trying to do, 15 frames a second is more than enough. And then I'm just going to select where I'm going to put that by going in here. So I'm going to call that physical simulation with Inventor Studio, and I'm going to change that to an AVI file, which is what the competition dictates, and I'm going to press save, and then when you're all ready to do that, you just press render and the computer will go away and render that, and that's how you do an animation using Inventor Studio.